Hello! Merry Christmas, everyone! Oh, wait. It's not Christmas. Wait a sec. Why am I doing a Christmas special review in the middle of summer? Well, at the beginning of summer. But you get my point. Oh, yeah, because I watched this episode last night. Doctor Who, Last Christmas. Actually, it wasn't that bad, actually. Ah! Ah! My head! Ah! Feels like I have a brain freeze. Ah! Ah! Ah, oh, that was a dream. Well, I was dreaming. So that gave me a great idea for a review. Last Christmas. I should review Last Christmas. Yeah, that's a great idea. So, hello everyone. I'm not. Oh, no, again. A dream within a dream. Well, hello. Wait a second. I'm not the dynamic duover. I don't do reviews. I'm a librarian. No! Oh, no, again. Wait, am I really? Am I really awake? Yeah, I'm really awake. Okay. And yes, I am the dynamic do-over. Okay, so let's review Doctor Who, Last Christmas. So Last Christmas starts off where season 8 finale left off, where Santa Claus going into the TARDIS and asking the Doctor, what does he want for Christmas? Well, when we get to the beginning of this episode, we go to Clara's place. She now has a house for some reason, unexplained. She moved out of that apartment somewhere between the season 8 finale and the Christmas special. So Santa Claus crash lands with his two elves, Wolf and Ian, and they try to get the reindeers down and get the presents back into the sleigh. So, for you know that this episode stars Nick Frost as Santa Claus. For those who don't know who Nick Frost is, he's a comedic actor. He is best known for his work with Simon Pegg on Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and World's End. So, basically, the plot for this episode is the Doctor and Clara are reunited and have to save the entire world from the dream crabs. I will get to that in a moment. And they must help Santa Claus try to save the day. That's basically what the summary is for this episode. So Clara wakes and heads outside to the rooftop where she encounters Santa Claus. And what I like about the scene, it's comedic elements. Like, they're not trying to say Santa Claus is real. They're just trying to make a funny moment. And that works. Like, you have Nick Frost pretending he's not Santa Claus. Like, what? Santa Claus? No. I'm just some roof people. Yes, roof people. Merry Christmas. Oh, if it is Christmas, how would I know? Like, I found that really funny. And I didn't mind the elves, but sometimes they could have been a bit annoying. To me, they didn't need the elves, but I guess they more fit needed to add the elves in. But then the 12th Doctor arrives, and from Clara's reaction, they haven't seen each other for a while. So the Doctor tells Clara that there's something wrong and they have to find out what it is, so they leave in the TARDIS. And from the beginning, it takes place on Clara's rooftop. But from most of the promotion images they released, you would think most of the episode took place on the rooftop because they didn't really release other images throughout this episode before it premiered. But it makes sense. You can't just have an entire episode on a rooftop. You'll get bored. And then we head to the Titans, and it has a Christmas theme. Like icicles, snowflakes throughout the Titans, which they didn't need. They could have just stuck with the regular Titans for this episode. And something else that annoys me is we see Peter Capaldi, then Jenna Coleman name appear, then we see Doctor Who logo, and then Nick Frost's name appears. Like, why don't you just have him right before the Doctor Who logos? And why do you even have him on this episode? I know he's a big actor in England, but he doesn't really do anything in this episode. Like, there's not a lot of point in putting his name if he's just a guest star. I know he's just famous, but if you're going to do that, at least put his name before the Doctor Who logo appear, not after, because that doesn't make sense. Like, starring Peter Capaldi, Jenna Coleman, Doctor Who, with Nick Frost. And what? They just said, wait! It contains Nick Frost too, if you forgot. Like, to me, they didn't need that. So we head to this Arctic base, and we encounter the Dream Crabs. And basically, they are just like the facehuggers from Aliens. And there's even an alien reference in this episode. Like, they're basically the facehuggers from Alien. All they do is just, like, they attach themselves to your head and they create this dream state for them, for their victims. Creating a perfect world, like where dead people you lost come back to life, where you are reunited with family members or friends you've lost, or you could be anything in this world. And this idea is a good idea, but they're kind of stealing from Inception too, but I will go into that later. But I like this idea. Like, maybe if they did this like 2 times instead of having it go throughout the entire episode. Like, usually Christmas specials during the Stephen Moffat times are terrible. Like, I didn't like A Christmas Carol. I didn't like The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. The Snowman kind of improved, but it wasn't that good. Like, and Time of the Doctor was okay, but it wasn't the best it could have been. Right now, and usually because they have too much Christmas elements to them. Why this episode doesn't really, and it feels like a Russell T Davies episode for a Christmas special. Like, it takes place on Christmas, but doesn't have too many Christmas elements that overwhelm the episode. And Stephen Moffat is learning from his mistakes from his last 4 Christmas specials. This is his 5th one. Sorry about that. So we arrive. So the Doctor and Clara arrive at this Arctic base and encounters 4 out of the 8 members of this of the crew for this Arctic base, and it kind of feels like the attack on a base during the Patrick Troughton era, where there's this monster attacking a base, and that was used a lot during the Patrick Troughton era. And by the way, Patrick Troughton's son was in this too, and that was interesting to have someone who knew Patrick Troughton, who was his son. Like, it isn't the first time Patrick Troughton's son appeared in Doctor Who. There was one in Midnight. But let's get back to the main episode. So the Doctor and Clara arrive, and they encounter the Dream Crabs. And we get... remember how I said Stephen Moffat was reusing ideas from different genres? He's kind of reusing ideas from himself now. Like, you have, don't look at them. Don't think about them. While you have, don't blink. Don't turn around. Like, he's reusing the idea for the Weeping Angels, but changing it a bit. Like, instead of don't blink, don't think. Like, Steve Moffat, you're a great writer in my opinion. But don't just reuse some of your old ideas for your Christmas specials. But anyways, then Santa Claus arrives with his army of toys and he's riding Rudolph. And that's a moment that I hated. I was like, why? Like, I don't like Christmas elements in Doctor Who Christmas specials. I know it's Christmas, it should be filled with Christmas stuff. But still, I think a Christmas special should focus on the characters, like the villain. Like how Russell T Davies did these in his Christmas special. It's set on Christmas, you had a few Christmas elements, you had a villain, you have the Doctor, you blow up the villain at the end. And that's what I liked about the Russell T Davies. They were interesting, they were fun to watch, they didn't focus on Christmas. Like Steve Moffat's focus on Christmas throughout his first 4 Christmas specials. A Christmas Carol was based on a story by Charles Dickens called A Christmas Special. And we had the Doctor, the Widow, and the Widow, and the Wardrobe, which was set on a planet that feels like Christmas. Christmas trees, even, and then you have the Snowman, which the main enemy was the Great Intelligence using Snowman. And then for Time of the Doctor, you had a town called Christmas, and the planet was covered within snow. But the only Christmas element in this was Santa Claus and the elves. So Steve Moffat is improving. So during the moments when the dream crabs are about to advance on Clara and the Doctor, the Doctor distracts Clara by saying Danny Pink, a person that Clara loves that died last season, was with someone else, and this made her mad, so mad that he was disgracing the memory of the man she loved. Sorry, the tired. Am I dreaming? Nah, I'm probably not. No pain. So this is where the truth comes out, where Clara admits Danny never came back and the Doctor never found Gallifrey. Like they both admit the truth to themselves, explain how the other one wanted them to be happy, try not to make them sad by lying to each other. This is a great idea, but they never really learn the lessons at the end of this episode. Like throughout season 8, Clara has been lying to almost everyone, and she never really learns her lesson. I thought when I was watching this that she would learn her lesson about lying. It only ruins things so much more. So then, yes, after the dream crabs are stopped by Santa Claus, the Doctor talks to the crew of the base, telling them what the dream crabs are. They create dreams. They feed on the person's mind, but they keep them happy long enough without knowing it. They create the perfect world they wanted. And so one of the dream crabs gets Clara, and she dreams of Danny being alive, the person she loved. And this is a great idea because it has to carry on from where Death in Heaven stopped. You have to have Danny Pink in it, in the dream. This would make sense because all Clara wanted was to have Danny back. So I like how Steve Moffat carried on the idea of Danny Pink. Like, yes, he's dead, but we need closure for Clara before she can develop more. And Anna, the Doctor finds Clara with a dream crab on, and the only way for him to rescue her is by going to the dream. So he lets a dream crab claim him, and he enters Clara's dream. And how he tells her that Danny's dead, that he is sorry that he's not here, but she has to move on. And the way the dream Danny responds by saying that he didn't save the entire world, he saved her. You all just got lucky. And how he explains that he wants her to think about him at least 5 minutes a day, and that she has to move on because Christmas is supposed to be a happy time. This is where people come and celebrate because they might not see each other again. And I know the feeling because recently, 2 years ago, I lost someone in my family, and I had a great Christmas with them. So that really touched me. How Danny said that Christmas is about to celebrate someone's life because you may not know when you're going to see them next or how long you have with them. And that's a really good idea. I quite like that. So then then Clara and the doctor wake up from the dream after Clara gives up the dream. Turns out that if the person's aware of the dream, they awake, the dream crabs just turn into dust when they are severed from the host. So then the doctor and Clara are waking in the real world, and everyone thinks, okay, you guys did it, so we're safe now, right? Then the doctor tells them, we're not safe because you see, when you are being attacked by the dream crab, they create this pain right on your right side of your head where you can feel the pain that's being caused by the dream crabs by destroying your mind. And we realize that they're dreaming because the doctor says, well, tell me, when we first met, we were being attacked by dream crabs. How did we escape? And one of them replies by, well, Santa. That's where they realize, because Santa Claus shouldn't exist. So they go and talk with him, and he explains that their minds are connected in a singular dream state, and that their minds are creating the most impossible thing that can save their lives by creating Santa Claus, and that they have to wake up now or they die. And this is a great idea because their minds were being attacked by the dream crabs, and their minds wanted to defend themselves. And because it was Christmas, their minds went with the logical thing: Santa Claus, the most impossible thing on planet Earth. So then so everyone thinks they're safe, and that the doctor and Clara leave, and that Clara says, Doctor, what about all the other dream crabs? They could kill someone. And the doctor's like, there's polar bears in the Arctic. Am I supposed to do something about that? Like, that's nature. Animals kill people, people kill animals. We're done. So long. And that is true. That is true. So we shouldn't worry about the dream crabs. Okay, I'll be off now. Oh, wait. Wait a second. The dream was over now. How did Clara and the doctor get there? They met Santa Claus on the roof. And after when they realized they're still trapped in the dream, and the dream has become a nightmare. You see, it's been a dream within a dream within a dream. Inception. Like I said, they steal elements from Inception too. A dream within a dream within a dream. Like, when Stephen Moffat was writing this, did he watch The Aliens and Inception during the same day? I thought, I could use that. Anyways, back to the review. So when they realized, they used the base's books, operation, whatever it is, and the doctor tells them to turn onto the same page, and every time it has a different word in each book for the first word of that certain page. And the Doctor also says, if there's 8 members, why are there only 4 books? And they realized the people that were attacked by the dream crabs, it was them. They were the same people from the base. And one of the base members like, oh my gosh, that's me! How is that me? And then he gets sucked into the TV and killed. And the Doctor and Clara and all the other members from the base escape through the exit. And they try to get to the TARDIS, but more dream crabs start appearing. And it's basically like they're all dead. Like there's at least 24 dream crabs. And then the Doctor says, think about it. You're in the most impossible place. The impossible thing you could think of. Bring yourself home. And then Santa Claus comes in with his sleigh, and everyone escapes onto the sled. And we get to fly through London. Pretty good CGI, might I add. Like, it's pretty good. It's impressive how they went from Death in Heaven's flying Cybermen to this great CGI. But most of it was filmed with green screen. So after then, most of everyone who survived the base wakes up. We have one of the members just sleeping in bed where that thing just, when the dream crab just crumbles. Then we have the old woman who wakes up and she's in a wheelchair. She was dreaming about be able to move with her legs. That was touching. Like, it was a bit sad. Then we have the final member who wakes up with a list of movies that she plans to watch, and one of them was Alien. Another Alien reference. So the Doctor awakens, and he seems like he's somewhere during a volcano eruption. I see Pompeii. And he goes to the TARDIS and heads to Clara's house, where he gets off the dream crab. And she's an old woman. It's been 65 years after Death in Heaven for her. And that scene between those two when they are celebrating Christmas, how she says that she had a good life. There was a lot of proposals. She didn't take any of them. The Doctor says, well, none of them ever equaled up to Danny. And she responds, well, there was one person, but he was impossible. And I found that scene very touching. And how they were, and I just found that moment pretty well. I thought, Stephen Moffat, this is your best ending for a companion ever. Like, you have finally done it. You have done a great Christmas special that I can praise. I can scream into the air and say, Stephen Moffat, you can do it! Until Santa Claus walks in and says, Doctor, you're still dreaming. You both are. And the Doctor wakes up back in the volcano eruption, which I'm pretty sure was Pompeii, heads back to Clara's house, gets the dream crab off, and she's young. And the Doctor asks her to come with him, travel with him again, and they head off into the TARDIS. And the Doctor will return in The Magician's Apprentice sometime this summer. Like, you had a great ending for Clara. I was like, wow, this will be a great ending. So don't you ruin it, Stephen Moffat. Like, when I was watching this on Christmas Day, I was touched because this would have been the greatest goodbye to a companion ever. But no, Stephen Moffat is like, no, I'm just going to make this touching moment and then ruin it for all. Like, I know there were some rumors about Jenna Coleman leaving. She was supposed to leave in Death in Heaven. Then she changed her mind and came into the Last Christmas. And then she changed her mind again and being in season 9. And to me, she's just becoming a yo-yo companion. Oh, I like that. Yo-yo companion. Like, she left in Kill the Moon, came back in Mummy on the Orient Express, left in Death in Heaven, then came back in Last Christmas. Like, look, I like her. I like Clara. She was a great companion. She got a lot of development during season 8. And I didn't want her to die in the Christmas special. I wanted her just to walk away, to finally leave the TARDIS. It was time for Peter Capaldi to get his own companion. But now the only way you can get rid of Clara is by killing her off. Because she would not leave on her own. So Steven Moffat, if you're watching this, I'm sad to say, but you have to kill off Clara in the season finale of season 9. That's the only way for her to leave. Because if Jenna Coleman stays any more longer than season 9, she will be overstaying her welcome. Like, the most a companion can stay is 3 seasons. And she has already done, at least, she's been on the show for 4 years now. This is about to be her 4th year. And I think it's time for her to leave. Like, she's done 2.5 seasons. She's going to become the longest running companion of the show. I think season 9 is where she leaves. But that's a video for another time. So from the episode, I liked it. It was the best Steven Moffat episode ever. You had some great actors like Nick Frost, while the base personnel were a bit forgetful, didn't really do anything but say, it's a long story. It's a long story. It's a long story. It's a long story over and over again, saying, oh my god, run everyone! And that's basically what they did. Just ask the question. None of them were important. And then you have Clara and the Doctor. Peter Capaldi does a great performance, like always. This Doctor is developing. He is no longer that harsh old man we met in season 8. He's getting a bit softer. He's having a bit more fun this in the Last Christmas. So I can't wait to see what they do with him in season 9. Clara is doing great too. I like the ending between the Doctor and Clara, but I still think Clara should have left at the end of this episode. But we will find out what will happen in the season 9. I really hope they do a great job with that with season 9. But overall, I thought this was okay. Christmas special, the best Steven Moffat has done so far. And I give this episode a 6 out of 10. I would have gave it a 7 out of 10 if they have kept the ending with the old Clara and the Doctor. But when it turned out to be a dream, again, it kind of brought down the episode to a 6. By the way, how many times was there a dream? Okay, there was a dream, within a dream, within a dream, within a dream. So 4 dreams within a dream. So I'm the dynamic do-over. I said, no, I'm dead, no. Wait a second. Did that review ever happen? Oh, come on! Got to be kidding me!